if we can get a side, can we get a sideward shot of this? Yeah, so if we get a sideward shot of this, you'll see you've got those two layers going on. The next thing, I like to think of it like as a warm blanket. You wouldn't want to wrap yourself up in that. You know, although it might keep you warm, you want to wrap your van up in something like this. So this is again from the same company. The reason why we use the same company is so we know the quality of the product, basically. It's made from recycled plastic bottles, I believe, and this is the next layer. So we have initial layer, secondary layer, third layer. So now we've got like 3 layers, and that's going to be going on all the walls and typically the ceiling. And the reason why we put it on the ceiling is because the ceiling shapes like that. So that's our 3 layer of insulation. And then our final layer, which is probably one of the most controversial points, is a vapor barrier. So there's a lot of people talking about a vapor barrier and saying you can't completely vapor barrier a van. That's correct, you can't, because there's holes everywhere in the van. Like, in order for you to fill every single hole in the van that's been put there by the manufacturer as breathing holes, if you were to fill all those holes, I think it would probably take you about a week, and you probably still wouldn't find all the holes in your van. There are so many, there's so many gaps, crevices, access points where the air that we breathe has got the potential to hit the exterior skin of our van, and that exterior wall of our van is the bit that we're trying to stop. There's a guy called Greg Virgo. I'll link his video down below. He does a fantastic video on like the technical aspects of reaching a dew point and things like that, and I think that is a great video for you to go and check out and learn a lot more about insulation than what we're sharing with you today. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned, what works well for us. So in our final layer, which we call the vapor barrier, we cover everything with this. But this also acts as like an anti-vibration layer. So we're going to have our lats. I don't know if I've got any in here. Let me just go and grab one, sorry. So we don't make our lats with this, but this is just an off-cut that I had. This is lightweight poplar ply, but to illustrate what we're trying to achieve is, you imagine you've got your support beams, or your B pillars, your C pillars and your D pillars here. You're not creating a vapor barrier from between the internal of your van and the external of your van. So what we do is we then cover everything else with a layer of this, and you'll see that in the video or the B-roll of what that looks like, so you can understand how to do it yourself. Because all we're doing is we're sticking that on the panel, we're then sticking that on top, and a lot of people might ask the question, do I have to cover every square inch of the van? The answer is no, not really. It's time and effort versus reward. So the amount of we try to cover as much as we can. So I like to think of a whole panel as like 100% condensation. So that's a plain panel of the van. If we're breathing out or there's moisture, humidity, it hits the exterior of the van, the air cools down, it condensates, it's going to condensate. We've got 100% chance of condensation. Then we start putting on this insulation. This is going to reduce it, well, I say insulation, sound deadening we put on. That will reduce it maybe by 5%. So we're at 95%. Then we put this layer on here, and we're now reducing that further. So every single panel that we can get on is going to reduce that number by more. So if we can get 80% coverage, which I think is possible, maybe 70% coverage of the exterior, other than sticking it on the outside of your van, you know, if we can cover the whole van in that, we've now got probably 25% chance of condensation, or we've reduced that chance down to 25%. We put this layer in. This isn't going to reduce condensation, but this is going to keep us warm